One time, one of my students, her daughter is an architect in Washington, D.C., and she specializes in restoration. And her daughter came to the hotel with us, and she said that the hotel was in great condition, unlike what the city is reporting. And she said it wouldn't cost much to refurbish it, and that it certainly didn't need to be demolished. She said the biggest expense would probably be the windows, because they were very specific shapes and sizes that are not common today. And so we wonder, like, who's the person that told the city of San Juan that it has to be demolished?
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Commissioners. We've been kicking around some ideas about how to tie that building into the city hall, again, preserving the history of the community and then looking forward as well. We even walked the site with Mr. Arjona. We looked at some elements that are still there at the hotel that we might be able to repurpose and use for the new conference center, just to kind of keep and preserve the history of that corner with the hotel.
So was the plan demolish, or I know you mentioned about keeping some of the old hotel?
The idea is to demolish.
I know the EDC has some plans as far as making some kind of an event center there at that location. Right now, where it was approved for any type of demolition at one of our city meetings, but it's not like concrete to where we're going to demolish it completely. No. It's still, we're still talks and see how we can figure this out. What's the best way to do something there.
Valley kind of knows the San Juan Hotel is haunted. That's what it's known for. Many people believe that it's haunted because a prostitute was killed there. That's the common story. But the other story, really told by elders, is it's haunted because of the horrible things that Tom Mayfield did. There's a historical marker to him that honors him as this upstanding citizen, because he was basically law enforcement in San Juan and Alamo for like 60 years, around maybe 50 to 60 years. However, the community today, and which is largely, and you can look at the census data, but I believe it's 98% Mexican American. When we asked them, what do you know about the hotel? The very first thing that every single person said was they used to hang Mexicans in front of that hotel. And so there's like no official recording of numbers, because these are, although they're state-sanctioned violence, it's extra legal, right? Outside of the legal parameters. And these are things that were done, right? Public lynchings and public violence was done to keep people in their place and keep the racial order, the racial hierarchy intact. And so, the San Juan Hotel, it makes sense. It's a public place on the south side of the tracks that directly faces the north side of the tracks. So people will see that. Multiple ties. One is, as one of the prominent Texas Rangers at the time, he would have been the one that is largely responsible for any lynchings by the Texas Rangers in front of that hotel. The second tie is that the reason why there is a marker to Tom Mayfield in front of the hotel is that he spent his last years living at the hotel. And the city of San Juan paid for him to live there after he lost to Erasmo Bravo as constable. Erasmo Bravo became the first Mexican-American constable of San Juan and Alamo. Up until that time, it had been Tom Mayfield. And so the city paid for him to live there in his last years of life and his retirement. And so that's his connection to the hotel, both of those things. It's also known that when he received visitors at the hotel, he would display what he called his memorabilia, which included items that he took from victims. Some city of San Juan residents that like him, they thank him for various things. It's a very paternalistic society, but the majority of people in the city will tell you he was an awful human being. I remember doing one oral history, and this man told me that he used to ride his bike as a kid by the San Juan Hotel every day to go to baseball practice. His coach, ironically, was Erasmo Bravo, and he was going to play baseball on Mayfield Park. And he said every single time he rode his bike past the hotel, he would close his eyes and pedal as fast as he could because he was deathly afraid of that place and the man that lived there. He said he was like a boogeyman. He was scarier than La Llorona, is what he would say. Since my students and I learned about this history, we have often said that it would be wonderful that if they could sort of create a museum of civil rights history in the Valley and tell this history, but also the history of how the city has resisted and been resilient and changed, right? That it would be wonderful for it to be a site for reconciliation and consciousness so that we can, heal from these historical traumas and ensure that we don't repeat them in the future. Perspective as a professor of Mexican American Studies is it's a site of a lot of pain, and I can really understand just wanting to demolish that and erasing that. At the same time, I know that it is critical that as a community we reconcile that historical pain, and erasing and demolishing the site does not help with that reconciliation. I think it's important for us to confront those historical moments that are very difficult and painful. And I think it's important for the community to reclaim those sites so that they are used for the possibility of reconciliation.